What makes you different makes you beautiful.
Welcome to Agency for Change, a podcast from KidGlov that brings you the stories of changemakers who are actively working to improve our communities. In every episode, we'll meet with people who are making a lasting impact in the places we call home.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Agency for Change podcast. This is Lynn Weinman, President and Chief Strategist of KidGlov. So today's guest is someone who is changing the way the world thinks about grief and mental health. And I'll be honest, grief is not something most of us want to or like to think about. But Samantha Ruth is a psychologist. She's a speaker. She's a best-selling author, and she is the founder of GriefHab, a 24/7 community built to support anyone experiencing loss. She's also the host of the Be Ruthless show, where she's dedicated to making noise and breaking stigmas on her podcast. She is inspired by her own journey, and Samantha has created a space where people can find daily support, speak openly, and get the help they deserve without judgment. Samantha, I can't wait to hear more. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am looking forward to talking to you. Actually, maybe I shouldn't be so overzealous about a topic like grief, but you're going to give us some tools and advice and talk to us about how to handle grief a little bit and talk about your space. So let's have you start by telling us more about GriefHab and this community that you're creating.
GriefHab is rehab for grief.
Oh,
Because,
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
right, there's rehab for everything else. And until you go through it, which we don't wish on anyone,
Right.
you don't know how debilitating it is. And I needed help with everything. I really, a light bulb burning out felt like the end of the world. And so GriefHab, there is an online Facebook community of people dealing with any and all loss who are there to support, encourage, help you heal your own way so that you can get through it on your terms. We live in
Yeah.
this world where there's a lot of noise and expectation.
Absolutely. Noise, expectation. And it's so easy for people around you to just go snap out of it, right? And that is probably the least helpful advice ever. I'm really curious, Samantha. You mentioned that you went through some grief yourself. I'm curious what helped guide you towards creating this space from others. I'm guessing it must be this personal experience plus your professional background.
Yes, my voice choked. I'm approaching 8 years. It will be 8 years at the end of the year. I unexpectedly lost my husband,
Mm,
who is my world, my everything.
yeah.
And it was not, of course, I immediately knew that I was deeply grieving and that life would never be the same. But it wasn't immediately that I knew I needed to create GriefHab. When I sold our house, which was almost 2.5 years later, I said,
Yeah.
friend, I need rehab for grief. I literally was not kidding. I still needed help with everything. And people are there in the beginning, and people know
Right.
how difficult it is at first. But of course, everybody goes back to their own lives and living, and we do too. We have to. But people think because you're functioning that you're okay
Yeah.
and that things are not challenging. And so I was frustrated with what I call the invisibles, the challenges and the things that people don't see that, I had 50 of before 9 a.m.
Yeah. Right. Right. It's just so heavy, right? Yeah.
And, and it's not just the therapy part. It's not just the counseling. It's tasks. It's clients calling me when they get a flat tire and they're stranded on the side of the road and logic goes out the window. Emotion takes over. You don't know what to do. And people have that. I don't want to call the people who are already doing so much.
Yeah. Right. Right. I appreciate that. You've kind of touched on this a little bit, but I'd love to even just take it deeper because I think it's really an important topic. Samantha, why is it so important to change the way the world views grief and mental health?
The world avoids grief. It's uncomfortable. People
Yeah.
want to, I, as a child, whatever the first funerals were, however I was exposed, was so bothered and turned to my dad and said, "Why are people talking about food? Why are
Yeah.
people saying what's for lunch? Where are we going? What's to eat?" People really, emotions make people uncomfortable and they want things to get back to
Yep.
whatever it looked like. And for those struggling, that might not happen at all. It certainly doesn't happen quickly, and it needs to happen their way on their terms.
Yeah.
And so being rushed and pushed and encouraged to clean out the cupboards or get rid of this or that, makes it harder. And so people need to know that they need to, not can, need to do it their own way, whatever that looks like. And I laugh at myself because every move I got rid of more, and not more of Jim's things, but I just saw how little I needed and how many things I held on to. The first move, I donated some of his clothes, but I kept his socks.
His socks.
Socks. I
Do
was
you
not,
know why that's significant?
no,
The
no.
socks?
And so when I was like, what in the world? First of all, yuck. It- They would yuck. Some of his sweatshirts and t-shirts I wear, and but if anybody else would have told me that I needed to get rid of them sooner, I would have been angry, sad. I had to do it when I was ready to do it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Wow.
and and now I can laugh and say it was ridiculous. But it was at whatever, whenever I needed to. And so if it's the dishes, if it's the dirty shirts, if it's the last load of laundry that you don't want to get rid of because it still
Mm.
smells like, whatever it is, it's
Mm-hmm.
yours. And
Mm-hmm.
you get to do it your way, and we don't get to say that it makes no sense.
Yeah. When you talk about avoiding grief, I think it's interesting because that instantly gave me this visceral feeling, Samantha, about like I just kind of went, "Oh yeah, I've been there." That moment when you're talking to someone and you're like, I don't know what to say here. I feel uncomfortable. I don't want to make you uncomfortable, but I probably am making you uncomfortable. Even when we started this conversation a few minutes ago, and I was happily going, tell us more about Griefhab. And I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be so happy when I say the word Griefhab, right? Like, I think that's even just an example of how these feelings are so real and how it can be so awkward. So, what then makes Griefhab so unique compared to other forms of support that are available?
It is for any and everyone dealing with any type of loss,
Yeah,
so a move, a
yeah,
job, a pet,
right. A pet, for
uh,
sure. A pet. Yeah.
infertility. I mean, you name it, loss needs to be recognized. And I think if we recognize it in this world earlier, it's
Yeah.
it becomes less uncomfortable to talk about.
Mm. Wow.
We also, there's someone there to talk to when you need at on your terms. You don't just have to make an appointment, wait until Tuesday at 2, and if something happens Wednesday at noon,
Yeah.
wait until it is rehab. It is when you need it. It is the ups and downs and licensed people there to go along with whatever that means. Plus, like I mentioned, the tasks, if that is
Yeah.
helping you plan a funeral or find the person to call when you're stranded on the side of the road, or find the nutritionist to not just say, here's a meal plan, but we're going to go to the grocery store. We're going to get everything. We're going to have
Hmm.
it made. And all you're going to do is open the refrigerator and eat it.
And it'll be there. Yeah. And then we know you have nutritious meals because that also, hunger, anger, tiredness, all of those things really weigh down on your mood, your health, your ability to cope.
We also just look at the whole person. There are people who have gifts that I do not have, but will certainly help your healing journey. And I'm
Yeah.
bring them in and address whether that is a massage therapist or someone who does Reiki or whatever ailment issue it is. If we're dealing with legal issues, then it's going to be a lawyer to help you with those documents. We are going to deal with the whole
Wow.
issue, everything going on with people through GriefHab that we know, trust, use, so you don't have to just go find someone. We don't have the yellow pages anymore.
Right, right. We don't have the yellow pages anymore. That is funny. So, I mean, how do you do it, Samantha? I mean, 24/7 and all of these different things. That's a big task. How does it work?
I learned early in life somehow that relationships matter and finding the people who care like I do, those other people are a part of GriefHab. And so it's not just me, that we have people in other places, other states, other time zones that will be there and are available. So if you cannot reach me, I will have someone else available when I'm sleeping. And we are a team, and we believe that's what we are, a team, and we help you create your team.
Yeah, yeah. So, Samantha, let's say we've got listeners who are either experiencing grief themselves, and this might be two different questions that I'm putting into one. So, they're either experiencing grief themselves or they have a loved one who's experiencing grief. Can you just provide any advice?
Don't suffer in silence. Don't go through it alone.
Yeah,
That would be my first, whoever that one person is. If you want to reach out to me, to 988, which is another crisis line where you can reach licensed professionals 24/7.
yeah.
It's it is our job to get you whatever it is you're looking for.
Okay,
So
amazing.
if that's your best friend, if that is your next door neighbor, going through it alone is going to make it more intense. It's going to make it last longer. And two heads are better than one, three are better
Yeah,
than
yeah,
two. Someone else will have a resource, an idea, a shoulder, something that you cannot do on your own. So
yeah.
use that. You don't have to work with me to reach out to me, but I can help get you whatever it is that you are searching for, even if that is just a moment.
Yeah, yeah. So this seems like a good time to mention. So let's say somebody's out there that wants to check out GriefHab. What's the best way for them to connect with you to access the service?
The community is on Facebook. You can find me everywhere, all social media, samantharuth.com or griefhab.org.
Great. We'll make sure to get those links into the show notes so that people can access them as well. Samantha, I want to ask you next one of my favorite questions that I've asked everyone on the podcast. And I'm sure you are going to come up with something really interesting here, but could you give us a few of your own words of wisdom to inspire our listeners?
One is right behind me on my wall. It's kind of what I live by. What makes you different makes you beautiful. I think a lot of people have insecurities, things that they think are a weakness.
Yeah.
And I want you to see it as a superpower, whether that's grief or mental illness or a birthmark or, something that you currently see is weighing you down. There is a way to turn that around and find it as your biggest gift. And believe you me, losing my husband is not my
Mm,
biggest gift.
yeah.
Or GriefHab would not be here. I use that to help others, and I would rather have him
Yeah. Yeah.
100%, but I still use it in a way to help others.
Yeah.
So, we have to find things.
I appreciate that. Samantha, most people won't be able to see this because this is a podcast and they're going to be listening, but the whole time I've been talking to you, it seems like there have been one or maybe two pets behind you. Can pets be helpful in dealing with grief? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Animal therapy is a huge part of what we do. Absolutely. I have Denver sitting here behind me,
Hi,
who
Denver.
I lost my oldest Sassy recently, and he is a new addition because Dallas has never been alone. Dallas helped Sassy and I heal when I lost Jim, and
Yeah.
animals absolutely are very therapeutic. It's such a huge, huge part of what we do. They're at my events, at my retreats. They know who needs them. They know
Yeah,
how to
yeah.
be there for you without words unconditionally. So definitely there's big part out here in Traverse City. There's horse therapy. Some people don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
If you feel a connection to animals and you feel better around them, follow that. That is not made up. That is real, and you can truly lift your spirits, move your emotions just by being around animals and letting yourself feel better with them.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Samantha, I'm so glad that you and I connected and we've had a chance to talk about this. As we wrap up our time together today, I'm really curious, what is the most important thing you would like our listeners to remember about the work that you're doing at GriefHab?
Anyone can access it anywhere. You
Okay.
can reach us online. If you're in Michigan, in person, we'll come to you. But no one is alone. No matter what you've been through, we have a group for you. We have something, even if your story is really tragic and unique, finding others who have been through something similar, finding others who get it is a
Yeah.
really, really important part of healing because it's isolating. Grief is isolating, and being isolated is lonelier.
Yeah. I think you said this at the beginning of our conversation. There's no reason to suffer alone. There are people and services like GriefHab that can help you through it. Samantha, as we wrap this up, I'm going to say I fully believe that the world needs more people like you, more services like GriefHab. Thank you for taking time to share with us today.
Thank you so much again for having me.
We hope you enjoyed today's Agency for Change podcast. To hear all our interviews with those who are making a positive change in our communities, or to nominate a changemaker you'd love to hear from, visit KidGlov.com at KIDGLOV.com to get in touch. As always, if you like what you've heard today, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.